My name is Rylan Cross, former captain of the Earth Defense Vanguard. I fought in battles humans weren't supposed to win, negotiated with species that barely tolerated our existence, and survived encounters that should have turned me into dust. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day I found myself unarmed, standing in the middle of an alien throne arena with hundreds of hostile warriors staring at me, while their queen watched with burning silver eyes from her obsidian throne. And the worst part? I wasn't even supposed to be there. Beginning the capture. 3 days earlier, I'd been escorting a diplomatic envoy across the Veil Nebula when an enormous warship, shaped like a serrated crescent, slid out of hyperspace. The Var'Zul Dominion, one of the most feared warrior races in the known galaxy. We never even fired a shot. A gravity snare wrapped around our ship, crushing our shields like foil. Their boarding party stormed in, towering reptilian humanoid soldiers clad in iridescent armor. One of them snarled as he ripped my pulse rifle from my hands. Weapons prohibited. Intruders will stand trial before the Queen. Trial? I laughed bitterly. This is a kidnapping. A massive fist slammed into my gut, dropping me to my knees. The Queen will decide if you live or die human. We were dragged through metallic corridors pulsing with bioluminescent veins until we reached something like a massive ceremonial hall. Torches of blue fire lined the path. Massive banners hung from the ceiling, depicting the Var'Zul crest, a serpent swallowing a sun. At the far end sat Queen Zarynth, ruler of the Dominion. She wasn't monstrous like her soldiers. No, she was tall, elegant, lethal. Her skin shimmered like living mercury, and her long silver hair was braided with glowing shards. Her eyes met mine. Cold. Calculating. Sharp enough to cut a star in half. "Human captain," she said in a voice that echoed through the hall. "You trespassed in Var'Zul space armed for war. Explain yourself." I stood up, still winded. "We were following a distress signal. That's all." "A lie," she replied instantly. She gestured. 2 guards seized my arms and ripped away the rest of my gear, knife, utility belt, even the metal clasps on my boots. "No weapon shall remain. You will face judgment unarmed." The hall erupted in laughter. I clenched my fists. "I don't need weapons to defend myself." A murmur spread through the warriors. The Queen tilted her head. "Interesting. Middle, the trial of might." The Queen stood slowly, her armor tightening around her like liquid metal. "Let the trial of might begin." The guards shoved me into a circular arena surrounded by hundreds of Var'Zul soldiers pounding their spears into the ground. A gate opened. A hulking alien warrior stepped out, easily 9 feet tall, with forearms and armor etched with battle scars. "Champion Drath." The Queen's voice echoed. "Defeat the human. Show him the consequences of arrogance." Drath roared and charged. I dodged right, barely, and felt the wind of his strike whip pass my cheek. He swung again, faster than something that size should move. I ducked, rolled, and landed a punch to his ribs. It was like hitting a steel wall. He laughed, baring jagged teeth.
"Weak. Soft.
Fragile." He grabbed me by the throat and lifted me off my feet. My vision darkened. Human surrender. I didn't surrender. I twisted, slammed my knee into his elbow joint, and he howled, momentarily loosening his grip. I dropped down, swept his legs, and he staggered. The arena gasped. The Queen leaned forward. Drath regained balance and lunged again. This time I was ready. I dodged inside his strike, climbed up his arm, and locked my legs around his neck. He thrashed, smashing me into the ground repeatedly. Pain exploded through my ribs. But if I let go, I was dead. So I held on. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. 8 seconds. His movements slowed. His knees buckled.
Thud.
Draft collapsed. Silence filled the arena. A human, unarmed, had defeated a Var'Zul champion. The queen rose from her throne. Her voice was low, dangerous. Again. 5 more warriors were sent in. I was bruised, exhausted, running on pure adrenaline. They attacked as a coordinated pack. I moved like a cornered animal, dodging, grappling, redirecting their strength against them. Every second felt like a century. My lungs burned. Blood dripped into my eye. My arms shook uncontrollably. But I didn't fall. When the last warrior hit the floor, the arena was completely silent. The queen stared at me not with anger, but something else. Respect? Curiosity? Fear?
No.
Recognition. As though she had expected something from me, and I had delivered it. But then she spoke words that froze my blood. Human, you will now face me. The arena erupted. The queen enters the arena. The queen stepped down from her throne. Her armor shifted, forming razor-edged gauntlets around her hands. The guards backed away. She circled me slowly. You fight with the desperation of a dying star, Captain. But I am not my warriors. I am the Dominion. I forced myself to stand upright. If you wanted me dead, it would have happened already. You're testing me. A faint smile touched her lips. Perhaps. Then she attacked.
Fast. Precise. Deadly.
Her first strike grazed my cheek, slicing it open. I barely deflected the second. The third hit my ribs and sent me crashing into the arena wall. Pain screamed through my entire body. She walked toward me, each step echoing. Stand, human. Show me you are worthy of judgment. I spat blood and forced myself up. She lunged again. This time I managed to grab her wrist, twist, and lock her arm. But she twisted with equal precision, flowing like mercury, and I found myself pinned. She could have crushed me, but she didn't. Our eyes locked for a split second. Then, I drove my forehead into hers. The audience gasped as she stumbled back. Not much, but enough. Her expression shifted, from confidence to something bordering on disbelief. You are fearless. Or foolish. I don't know how to quit. I managed. She struck again, faster and faster, testing, probing, studying me like a puzzle. Each blow was a message. A question. Who are you, human? Why do you fight like someone who has already lost everything? But I didn't answer with words. I answered with fists, elbows, knees, and sheer refusal to fall. Finally, after what felt like hours, I caught her wrist mid-strike and used her momentum to flip her over my shoulder. The arena roared in shock. The queen hit the ground. And for the first time in years, I felt fear from someone else. She rose slowly, breathing heavily, silver hair falling loose around her shoulders. Her eyes were no longer cold. They were burning. Enough. The revelation. The queen raised her hand. The arena fell silent. She looked at me with a gaze that felt like it pierced my entire history. They took my weapons, but they could never take my will to fight. And that was enough to make even the alien queen step back.